Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, Wootini over at GayGamer.net, here with another weekly video podcast. As you may have noticed from visiting the site, or perhaps from following GayGamer.net on Twitter, we are experiencing technical difficulties with the site. So there's not any new content going up currently. However, I figure I'll still tape these and upload them to YouTube, and even though I'm not posting the video on the site, they're still on YouTube, so you can still watch, and I can still talk about stuff. This week, I think I may have opened a Pandora's box that I might not be able to shut again. I was in a toy store, just browsing, and I happened to see this little Lego, I think they're called Micro Fighters. It's a TIE fighter, and I was like, oh, that's adorable. I love it. I want that. You know, it was like $10. And so I bought it, and I had so much fun assembling this. It's like a little, it's not, you know, realistic. It's, you know, the little guy sitting up on top, but I had so much fun assembling it and putting it together like a puzzle, because I love puzzles, that I was like, oh, this is great. And then I was like, you know, though, I really should get the TIE Fighter. I have the TIE Fighter, I should get the X-Wing, you know, to have both. So, you know, I went back and I purchased the X-Wing, which I also had a great deal of fun assembling. And now I can go and they're cute, and they don't take long to assemble, because there's not a lot of pieces. But I had so much fun with those that I'm like, ugh. Now I kind of want to, like, get something a little bigger. Like, maybe, I love the Ghostbusters car with the Ghostbusters, because my husband loves Lego minifigures. He doesn't love the actual sets, he just loves the figures. So, he's bought some, boot Legos online, because you can't buy just the minifigures. They only come with the sets, and the sets can be anywhere from $50 to $250, depending on what you're getting. So, like, he also will get other Lego minifigures and then, like, rearrange the pieces to make a character that doesn't have its own official Lego figure. But I'm just tempted. It's just that some of those sets are, like, really expensive, you know. So I'm trying not to fall down this rabbit hole of Lego sets, because I also don't have anywhere to display Lego sets. So, speaking of not having enough room to display things, my amiibo shelf is getting extremely full, because we had another amiibo release week this past week. Thankfully, again, I'm only collecting the ones that either are super cute or are Animal Crossing. So this week, I only collected Animal Crossing. So we had Rover. He's a little cat that you meet on the way into town every game. The delightful Cap'n, who I sort of wish was sitting in a boat, but whatever, I'll allow it. Especially because in-game, he can't float around in his boat, so whatever. And then these super duper cute Timmy and Tommy. They're so cute. And naturally, having bought those figures, I sat down and played a round of Amiibo Festival, which I don't normally play, but when I got new figures, I was like, well, let me play it. So I played a game of Amiibo Festival to just to see the characters moving around and doing stuff, and of course, you know, they have their own specific, like, jokes and whatever. When you land on a space, you know, like, Timmy and Tommy they'll be sad because people can't tell them apart, you know, that sort of thing. I kind of feel like these might be the last Animal Crossing amiibos, but I don't know. I haven't heard of any new amiibo plans from Nintendo yet, but if they do create more amiibos, they're going to have to release more they're gonna have to release DLC for the game. You'll have to update the game because I feel like these are the characters that they knew they were going to do, so they were already in the game, and you just unlock them by tapping the amiibo. So they would have to DLC up some new characters, and then also, I feel like they might need to make a new game before they release more amiibo, because I don't feel like Amiibo Festival was that popular, and I don't feel like it's the kind of game that can support the release of more and more and more amiibo. Although for me, personally, I'm going to buy anything Animal Crossing they put out, so keep going, whatever. You'll get at least one sale. It's not really worth it though, is it? Then the other thing I wanted to talk about this week was Sony's big announcement of PlayStation VR, which, as you know from previous episodes, I'm very into this VR. My experience with the Oculus Rift at PAX East a couple years ago was fantastic. I was blown away because I love 3D, so to have 3D in 360 degrees is like insane to me, and I love it. And if you saw my Christmas episode, you know that I got the Viewmaster 2.0, which is just essentially a plastic case to put your phone in to do, Google Cardboard VR stuff. And obviously the Viewmaster VR apps, which sadly are not in 3D, but are still pretty cool. So Oculus Rift is like crazy expensive, and, I'm like, but the PlayStation VR, I was like, oh, it's only $400. I'm like, that's actually not too terribly expensive. I still have to buy a PlayStation 4 to begin with, but I'm like, okay, that's within the realm of possibility. It's slightly affordable VR. The problem is there's no games out right now. Like, the launch games are like nothing I actually want to play. So, it's a bunch of mech games, there's like a golf game, and I'm just like, I'm not into this. So, as with any peripheral, it's always best to wait and see how it does. Now this is VR, they're putting a lot of effort into this. This isn't going to be like, I don't feel like this is going to be like Microsoft with the Kinect, where they're like, oh well, never mind. Like, they're putting a lot of effort into this, and they have been, so I feel like Sony's going to really push this. They also say that you can play any PlayStation 4 game with the headset, but it's not going to be in 3D VR, it's just going to be playing it on a giant TV, and you're going to be like this, it'll just completely fill your field of vision, which, depending on the game, a first-person shooter game, that could be kind of cool, I suppose, but a platformer, that just would, I don't know how that would play. But I feel like if I wait a while, by the time a game comes out that makes me go, ooh, I want that, the price of the set will be lower, in theory. I still haven't bought a PlayStation 4, and in a few months there's going to be a game that I want to play on the PlayStation 4, and now I can get a PlayStation 4 for much cheaper than I could have, if I'd bought it at launch, obviously. So, I'm hoping by the time there are actually some PlayStation VR games that I want to play, there will also be a slight price drop to it. Because, while they're like, hey, it's $3.99, and you get the headset and all the cables and the extra little box that you plug into your PlayStation, it's all set, what they neglected to mention is that you also need the PlayStation 4 camera, which, unlike the Kinect, does not come with the PlayStation 4. You have to buy that separately, and it's $60. And then I think, from what I've understood, the camera is required, which is weird that you wouldn't put it with the set. Although, I guess, initially, the camera, some people do have the camera already, so maybe they feel like, alright, let's not make people buy the camera again, because that would be silly. But some games, I believe, also require the Move controllers. So, while they're like, hey, it's only $3.99, that's for, the core VR experience, the headset and the cables and the box to plug into your PlayStation 4, because you already own the camera and the the Move controllers. So if you do need the camera and the Move controllers, as I would, you have to buy a separate bundle that includes those as well, and that gets a little pricier. I think that was running like 500 or so. 500 or 600, which is, you know, more, but still within the realm. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm excited about it. I love 3D and I love the idea of VR, but I need to have some like legitimately solid games that I want to actually play before I'm going to drop $400 on a way to play it. You know what I mean? So it's wait and see. But let me know in the comments if you are excited for VR or if you think it's just a gimmick and a fad. So I will see you back here next week, where I keep thinking that Batman versus Superman is coming out, but every week it's like, oh no, it's next week. So next week, Superman versus Batman is coming out, and don't expect a review, because I know sometimes I give reviews of movies when they first come out. I won't be reviewing that opening weekend, because I'm not going to see that opening weekend, because it'll be too crowded and obnoxious, and I really don't want to see it anyway. But I have to see it in order to complain about it, because I know it's going to be terrible, and I know I won't like it. But I have to see it in order to complain about it. But I probably won't see that until like the following weekend. That way it'll be less crowded, and I'll just go to like a cheap matinee around the corner, hopefully for a discount price. So I don't know what I'll talk about next week, but if you come back, we'll all find out together. Bye!